y'all. So obviously I have not been on in a minute. It's been a minute. I am aware of that. But I am excited to be back in front of you all. I'm gonna keep this video short and kind of straight to the point. I'm going to be talking about the year, the 2022 year. Some of you know that I've done this in the past with just past years as well. With this one in particular, I wanted to zone in on just really academic wise of what I went through with college. As some of you know, I did just recently graduate. I did just recently graduate from college in December to be a elementary school teacher. So I have my degree, my bachelor's degree in elementary education, grade levels kindergarten through 5th grade. And so that's exciting, and that's really something to celebrate about. And I did actually get a chance to celebrate with my friends and family back in December, just because it's just such a monumental moment in my life. So we had a great celebration, a great time, just celebrating the accomplishments. But I've been led by God to talk about some of my journey leading up to this point, and some of the things that I have been going through. One thing, when I do hop on here, you all know by now, I love to be transparent, and I love to be very open and vulnerable. It takes me time to get to that point, but I do like to be open and vulnerable because I believe that a story or a testimony can touch someone, because somebody could be going through similar things. And I know for me, when I hear that somebody my age or in the same age bracket is going through similar hardships, it always lets me know that the same affliction is amongst our brothers and sisters, and it lets me know that we all can get through it with God's grace and mercy, right? And so those are just some of the things that I've been just kind of really relying on lately. So like I said, I'm not going to keep this video too long. But I did have a journey with colleges. I'm sure a lot of graduates had a journey, or people that are still in school, you're on your journey, and that it's not easy, right? It's not easy. The first thing that I want to point out, that it was not easy at all. 4 years was filled with highs and lows. It was like literally a roller coaster, right? My freshman year, I thought I had it all together. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Well, I've been knowing I want to be a teacher since I was a little girl, right? But I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. That's what I was going to school for. And I was just ready to hit the ground running, right? Like, boom, we here. I'm out of high school now. I'm about to make all these connections. I'm going to do this on campus. I'm going to do that on campus. And so funny. I started off as an ambassador. I was, as a freshman, I was like an ambassador. So I was like a tour guide. I would take families around to tour them the campus. I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm not good with location and definitely not direction, right? So that job did not last long at all because it just didn't work out for me. But the lady who was over the ambassador program was super sweet, and she just encouraged me to just apply for other things or just find my niche, right, on campus, find what I like to do. So then this other opportunity came up. It was called Project Regalia, and it was pretty much based around an all African American girl group on campus. And it was kind of not just starting, but maybe like its 3rd year in. And it was great. I got an email. Actually, I applied and I took an interview, and I just knew that I wasn't probably going to get the position. I'm still a freshman. So, as a freshman, you're like, probably not, but I'm just going to put myself out there. So I took the interview, And I ended up getting an email back, and the position was offered to be vice president over this girl group. And I was like, oh my God, I definitely didn't expect that position. I was like, wow, like God is moving. And this is why I had to drop the previous position, because you wanted to elevate me, right, into something that fits me, you know. And it definitely did. It taught me a lot. I was vice president over the girl group for about I want to say 3.5 years, up to like my junior year. And it honestly was good. I mean, when you work with a group of women, growing women who are trying to grow in themselves and figure out what college is and what they want to do, you know, there can be ups and downs, but you mature over the years. And I think that experience definitely matured me in a lot of different ways towards leadership, and just relationships with young women, you know. Yeah, so it was a great time. And then I feel like any club, and this is for all my college people who is either starting college or is looking for something to do on campus, or you want to be a part of an executive board. Like, here's the thing, like any RSO is going to be challenging, right? Because you're working with multiple different personalities. So it's not going to be easy, you know? And I realized that, you know, and like I said, we were all growing. We were all trying to figure out who we wanted to be, right? With many of things thrown at us. So, I definitely took that experience to heart. It was times where obviously I wanted to let go because things got hard sometimes, right? But it was just something about this group that was just so dear to my heart, and it's still dear to my heart. And I was able to pass it off to some amazing young women who are over it now and who are doing great things with this organization. And I also had a wonderful mentor who was over this group, who started this group. And so it just was great to just be able to also build those connections with other people as well. So that was like my freshman year to junior year. I became vice president, and I think it was it my sophomore year, or it might have been my second semester of freshman year too. Cannot remember. I'm not good with like thinking back on the timeline. But like it was either my freshman or sophomore year. I got connected to the chapel on campus, so the chapel ministry, and I ended up becoming it's called Steward of Worship. So I would help plan the weekly services for our chapel ministry, and we had Monday chapel every Monday, so I would help plan that. We go to weekly meetings just to plan those services. And so yeah, so I was a part of a couple of things on campus as a freshman, you know, and I was a chapel steward all my 4 years of college. So okay, we are back. So yeah, so I did that for like my 4 years, you know, of college, which was, again, that was a great experience as well, you know, good experience. Of course, you experience your highs and lows with that too. You know, I've learned too that ministry is not easy, you know, and as long as you keep God at the center of it, you learn about yourself through that too. And you learn and you mature, and you know, you trust that God is going to still guide you, and no matter what you put your heart and your mind to. And so yeah, so you know, both of those things that I was a part of, that's why I'm talking about it. I really feel like made up my college experience, right? Through the good and the bad. Like, it made up my college experience. It made me who I am today, and who I'm going to be, you know, because you build connections with people as well. Whether you stay connected to those people or you've disconnected, you know, you still have built relationship, and at different points in your life, those relationships really mattered, right? And those relationships really helped helped you, and God placed those people in your life for a reason. Even if it was for a season, he still placed them in your life for a reason. And I just look at that as, you know, I thank God, you know, that I was still able to be a part of amazing groups and be connected to people. So that was that. So I would say that to say during this time, I was so not wrapped up in the things that I had going on outside of school, but I definitely was just like, you know, very like trying to balance it all, really trying to just balance it all. And I know I keep saying that it was a lot of highs and lows, but it was. And even when it came to the program that I was in for my major, that was like a windy roller coaster, right? You know, I struggled with the people in the program. I struggled with myself. I struggled with just trusting myself that I can do this, trusting professors that they're going to help me through it, trusting, you know what I mean? Just, it was very, I don't know, it was very hard at times, right? To even trust that, you know, I could graduate. I could see December, or I could see May, whenever I was set to graduate at that time. It was just so hard to really see it, right? And again, like I said, I wanted to get on and be very transparent about this because I feel like it's gonna really help some people, you know, that are going through it. And this is gonna be a message at the end, as I kind of give you the background of it all. And so it started to really affect my mental. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't realize how bad my mental health was affected until really towards the end. I think that you, as a young generation, we kind of run off of adrenaline, right? We run off of adrenaline. We run off the high of things, no substance, but just the high of things, of being successful, of, you know what I mean? Just being a part of something, being seen, you know, and we run off of that. And then when things start to kind of feel like it's tumbling down, we don't know what hit us, right? We don't know what hit us. And I say this because if you're not connected to the source, and you're probably asking me, Jayla, what is the source? If you're not connected to the true vine, then, which is God, then like you don't know how to handle the turbulence, okay? And that's for somebody, like you don't know how to handle the turbulence when things start to crash down, right? And I felt like I was connected, right, to the source. I felt like, okay, God, you got me. I'm connected to you. I know that you're going to help me through this thing. I know you're going to see me through. And while all these things are true, right, I didn't really believe it, you know, and I didn't realize that towards the end of my academic career. I didn't really believe that, God, you were truly with me the whole entire time, or I believe that you're gonna make things better for me. Like I didn't really believe it, right? And then I started to realize, and I got really honest with God because towards the middle and end of 2022, God spoke a word over me, and he said that I'm going to take you through a season, and I want you to be obedient to what I am saying to you. And by the end of this season, you're going to see why I took you through it. And I was like, oh Lord, it's kind of like, okay, buckle up, buckle up. God's getting ready to take you through something, right? And I don't believe that God takes you through bad things. Like that's not him. That's not of him. He doesn't take you through bad things. But I also think that there are different seasons in your life. And I believe that sometimes God has to show you things in order for you to realize that he is who he says he is, right? And because sometimes we forget that. We forget that God is really who he says he is. We forget it, right? And so I definitely was in that, you know, in that predicament where I forgot, you know, and I was like, okay, God, you know, I'm gonna buckle up and we're gonna go through this thing. And I mean, it was a thing. Like recently it was a thing. And you know, I came to like a conclusion. I was like, and I had to be real with God. I was like, God, like, I don't trust you. Like, and I think that what I've been telling people lately is that if more people, particularly like young people, if we were honest and more honest with God, and let him know that, like, hey, I don't trust you, but I want to trust you, right? I want to trust you more. I want to be better. You know what I mean? I want the relationship between you and I to be stronger, you know, and I feel like some of us are so afraid to have that conversation with God because we are afraid that God is going to judge us, right? And that's the last person that we should think that will judge us, right? And I think for me, I just been through so many different situations within the last 4 years where I felt judged, or I felt as though, you know, this is never gonna work out, or this is never gonna happen for me, or looked over, or not heard, you know what I mean? And I just, like I said, I believe that some of us are in those situations and those hard times right now. And the 4-letter word that I got from the season that I have been through is trust. You know, and if we were just honest with ourselves and with God, number one, that we have to work on trust and we have to work on trusting God, then I think that things could get a little better, a little easier, don't you think? And I had to be real about the situation. I was like, God, I don't trust you, let alone do I trust myself. Now, most definitely don't trust the people around me or the people I feel like is in charge of different situations. I don't trust them. And I just wanted, I always was, I as a little girl, I always worried. I'm always worrying about what if, what's gonna happen next? What does this look like in 5 years? Instead of focusing on the things that are set in front of me. And guys, like, this is still me, like, still battling this right now, presently. But I'm also realizing that, you know, what God has spoken to me is that, you know, if I begin to trust Him, then that's when things can start being lifted up off of me. Wow. If I begin to start trusting Him, that's when things can begin to start lifting up off of me. And I mean, some of those burdens, some of those worries, some of those anxieties, you know, and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, right? I'm not saying that's easy. And so one of the scriptures that, you know, I want to leave you with is John 16:33, is these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. Peace, right? In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Okay, and the most important thing I think in that scripture is that in ye you might have peace. Right? You might have peace. We shall have peace because God already overcame the world. And you say, what do you mean by world? Well, take that as yourself. God has already overcame the situations that you were going through. So He's saying, be of good cheer. Even through the tribulation, still be of good cheer, right? You know, and that's just something that I feel like I'm trying my best in 2023 to really lean on, you know, is to, no matter what, is to still be of good cheer. Even on the bad days, be of good cheer. Even when people are saying no, be of good cheer. Even when finances look low, be of good cheer. Even when friends turn their back on you, be of good cheer, right? Even when relationships fall apart, my God, be of good cheer. You know, because God has already overcame the world. And so, you know, another thing, because I got to a point where, like I said, like, I didn't know how bad I was stressing, right? And I recently just went to the hospital for very severe migraines, and I didn't know what was going on because I never felt this feeling before. I felt I've had a migraine, but this one was severe and it was scary, you know. And so I had to go to the hospital because obviously I'm like, what is happening, you know? And, you know, they ruled it out as a severe migraine, but it said there was a lot of tension, you know. And while I was in the hospital bed, God literally said, you're too young. Like, you're too young. I hope that's for somebody. Like, I just want to encourage you that you are too young. You know, you are too young to let the devil come, steal, kill, and destroy. My God, you are too young to give up on your dreams, hopes, and aspirations. You're too young to drop out of what you've already started. And so I hope that that touches somebody, because it definitely touched me when he spoke that over me. That there's so much more life to live, right? Um, and the thoughts of loneliness and I don't want to be here, and God, what is my purpose, and why do you even still have me here on this earth? And I come against them, right? I come against them because you are too young and you have a life to live, and there is a world out there that you have to prophesy to, and that you have to be an advocate for Christ. There are so many lost people, and God still needs you to spread his word. He still needs you to help lead people to the cross. And so I just wanted to leave you all with that, because those are the things that I've been trying my best to just really lean into the past couple of weeks. So I hope this blessed someone, and I hope that you all are already having a great 2023, even though it just started. I still hope that you guys are having a great one. I'm trying to go back to the little natural. Honestly, wearing the natural hair again has even like uplifted my spirits a little bit. And the other thing, like rest. Like I've been trying to rest as much as I can before I start subbing or getting a long-term job, just to catch up on rest. That's super important too, because if you're not rested, you can't do anything for the kingdom, right? You can't do anything well for the kingdom. And so you have to be rested. Jesus took time to rest, right? And so he gives us that opportunity to rest as well, so we can be good, and so I'm learning that too. So this is just a really learning experience, and I'm excited to start back connecting with you all too again. I'm not going to give you a date or a time, because I don't know yet, and I don't want to make any promises, but I do miss you all, and I do love your prayers, and I'm praying for you all as well, so keep them coming. So God bless you all so much, and I look forward to connecting again. So